opening sequence, we decided, it should be low-budgeted movie for a Hollywood movie.
The set was a piece of plywood. It was relatively small. I think it was 28 inches wide, about 24 inches deep. There was a landscape that was integrated into the plywood. It was actually consisting of ground-up volcanic rock to make this kind of sandy, desert-looking area. And then the foreground was the same volcanic rock, but it was in big chunks and had a look of forced perspective. So at least from one angle, with a very wide lens, it would look like the set was very, very large. The other component was the background of stars and planets, and that consisted of a plexiglass sheet that was painted with deep black, and then holes were just pecked out of it to give you the illusion of stars. And then there was a sun that was kind of modeled to look like it. That was supposed to be the sun that was going to doom this planet and cause these spores to go and try to find a better home.
Effects down in LA, I was trying to figure out how to get something that would float from one planet to another.
While I was doing this set, I was also trying to accumulate all these different chemicals that you could stick into water. And so I would go to the local drugstore and you look at the set and you say, well, that's pretty promising. Where's my creatures? And he was actually I think he was pretty disturbed, but he needed to see the creatures. And we didn't have anything.
I found in an art store a big bottle of gelatinous slime, really. I think it cost $10.
When you initially put it into water, it was very much transparent. It was almost invisible, so.
And then, we basically experimented by reversing motions, dropping it through water. It was the kind of approach that I really took through when I did a film a few years later called The Right Stuff.
Nylon threads through the surface of the leaf and pulling back these little tendrils through the blob, or in the case of the flower petals were made out of latex. They were cast latex, and we just pulled them gently back into the pod. So that's kind of the story of how that whole sequence evolved from just like, what are we going to do? How are you going to simulate this with very little budget and very little time, into go do it.